And I'm back, baby! Maestro comes back from absolutely nothing, rises from the ashes of the phoenix to smite down all evil and vanquish it from these lands if it's the last thing I ever do in all of life. My screech! Silent my screech! Anyway, Maestro's back and out with another video. I thought it would be fun for me to show my Windwalker gameplay in the background. Just made a Windwalker. Already farming kids into the ground like no tomorrow. Like the brickhead pen brain weasels they are. Freest wins in all of life. Windwalker, by the way, is so unbelievably broken. It's disgusting. The Maestro, of course, plays like really good already for not even knowing where my keybinds are. Luckily, this rogue was a backpedaling rogue. No, he wasn't even good as a robot. He was a level 1 Pikachu is better than this kid. A granny who's never played WoW would be better than this kid. But Windwalker is just doing unhealable damage. Like, it's actually unreal. Windwalker, I've actually been having a little bit of fun on Windwalker until I got into this one game where I started losing and I'm never playing this class ever again, but nothing I can do about that one. But anyways, this video today is what could Blizzard do? The delusional Peziantes at Blizzard, the feministas in the back room, watching the Barbie movie. What could they do to make WoW better? The number one thing they can do to make WoW better is stop putting 10 new expansions at the same time. We don't need your Animal Crossing expansions, Blizzard. Stop re-releasing 7 different expansions at the same time, especially expansions that people don't even want to play. And when I first said when Classic first came out, just regular Classic, I'm like, I don't want to play this again. I already played it. And the thing was, I was like, you know what? It will be somewhat cool to go back to regular Classic because there's a special type of adventure to Classic that could be fun. So the player base eventually will get bored of Classic and come back to regular WoW. So it wouldn't be that big of a deal to release Classic. Obviously, at the start, people are going to be playing Classic, but pre-karma like a true hero. When you're first releasing Classic, it's fine. I'm like, it's not going to be that big of a deal for Classic because there's an adventure to it, and you can, when you're bored of Classic, you can go play regular WoW when there's only 2 versions of WoW. Then they start releasing a second version, a third version of WoW, and a 4th version of WoW, burning shit safe. And I was like, why is this loading right now? What is this pure blasphemy and treachery afoot? Once you start releasing that many different versions, that's when things get really bad for the game. Especially when Burning Shitsade is complete and utter trash, and Wrath of the Trash King is the worst expansion of all time. And back when I was a bald baby, I was never a bald baby, baby with an extremely nice Anchorman hair, I used to think Wrath was cool because when video games first come out, they're fun for like that time period. And then like things evolve and stuff. That's why the Maestro literally can breathe underwater. Oh no, I'm not an amphibian scum. But things evolve over time and then new video games come out. And then those video games that used to be fun are not fun anymore. So Wrath of the Trash King is just horrible. And then splitting all this player base up into small little segments makes the game so bad because the game is already hard to get into. PvP is already hard to get into because it's so complicated for the small brain little reptiles. So splitting up the player base just makes it hard to find people to play with, and then less and less people play the game because no one can find people to play the game with. And if no one can find people to play the game with, then no one wants to play the game, and it's just a multiplying effect. And it just makes the game unplayable because then people can't get rating because they can't even queue up 3v3 Arena and then they don't even want to log on in the first place. People will log on. I'll log on and sit there for 12 hours and I'm the highest rated HPAL and best HPAL in the entire game, 42-time rank 1. And I just cannot find people to play with. And it's so frustrating playing with people who have an IQ of a negative guppy. It's so frustrating people that are getting fed through tubes and can't even breathe on their own. And I have to play with these people. And these people can't even draw a circle. Like, these people can't even turn on their faucets. And I have to try to play at the highest rating with them. And it's so frustrating and awful. So stop putting out 10 expansions, especially when they re-release Classic for a second time. Like, why would you re-release Classic and then take our characters off Classic. They took our characters off Classic and put them on Wrath when the new expansion came out. So, or Burning Shit So they didn't even leave our classes on. You had to pay money to leave your classes that you spend so much time doing onto Burning Shit. You had to pay money to keep them on Classic. And then they just got rid of them completely. Like, what the actual, like, how? Like, Blizzard is beyond delusional. So all it is just a money grab, but it's ruining the game in general. Like, it's horrible. So anyway, that's the first thing. Especially, like, Cataclysm. Like, who the hell wants to play Cataclysm again? I mean, I played it already, but obviously I was really bad back in Cataclysm. Well, that was when I first started getting okay. When I was 11 years old or whatever. But, I was literally like 11 years old. But, that's when I first started getting, like, okay at the game. Like, getting keybinds and stuff and, like, understanding a little bit more about the game. But I still don't want to go back and, like, play it because I know how tedious it was to get gear, how horrible it was. And most of these expansions, why it's so bad for my stream, is because 99% of the game, all I'm doing is trying to gear up and level my characters. So it's just so hard to actually be able to play the game. Like any other game, like Call of Duty or whatever garbage game you're playing, you can just log in and play. And WoW, you can't do that, and that's what makes it so hard. So another thing that could make people want to play the game who are already playing the game, make people have more fun, increase MMR. Why is it impossible to get 2400? Obviously, some people like who are playing broken comps and who have always been playing together can get to 2400. And obviously, the Maestro can get to 2400 because I'm the best Paladin in the entire game. But normal people can't even get to 1600. And like I have to, and think about it, I'm playing with all group finder people who are literally 1200 CR. So I'm playing with the worst of the worst, and they're never ever going to be able to get rating. They have to increase MMR. Blizzard literally just is like our government. That's how useless they are. They don't know how to do anything. They're completely clueless, and they think that we're the problem when they're the problem. Blizzard is just literally the biggest communist scum to ever exist. So bring back higher MMR, and it's more fun to get rating. It's so boring to stay at the same rating. Farmed all those peasants into the ground. Do a little victory dance right there. I guess I'll fast forward to my next games here. I didn't play as good at these games, but do what we have to do. But another thing they can do to increase interest in WoW PvP is bring back Glad at the end of the season. And add in rewards during the middle of the season that aren't as important. Like, you could add in, like, pets or maybe a title for getting, like, 2100 or 2100 is so low. You should have to get 2400 to get anything. But the thing is, getting 2400 different seasons are different. Like, when the MMR was super high the first season, getting 2400 is an absolute joke. But now getting 2400 is actually good. So if you get 2400 right now, you can consider yourself glad because it's the highest end of the ladder. But when MMR is high, 2400 is beyond a joke. It shouldn't be considered glad. So I think they should bring back glad at the end of the season, and it will give more people a reason to play all season to get a reward at the end of the season. Especially if they add in rewards during the middle of the season, like for getting those lower ratings, that stuff like maybe like a pet or like something that people don't care as much about, but will give at least some sort of reward. And for Solo Shovel, it's beyond delusional that in Solo Shovel you don't get a mount. Why do you not get a mount for getting rank 1 in Solo Shovel? You should get 100% get a mount for getting rank 1 in Solo Shovel. The fact that you only can get a title is beyond delusional. And the fact that these queue times, they have to do something about these queue times. The fact that you sit in 40-minute queues as DPS, and I'm at low rating right now in my DPS, and I still sit in 40-minute queues, like, I'm not sure. The whole problem stems with not enough people playing. So it all just stems with not enough people playing the game in general. Like, so they just need to fix the amount of people playing in general by doing the other stuff I said, and then that will fix the Solo Shuffle queue times because then more people will want to play. And to do that too, the burst damage in this game is it's just so bad for the game. Like, the random burst of random abilities. And I don't want the game to be dampening. I hate dampening more than anything in life. But at the same time, when you add in these abilities that, especially on my Paladin, you feel it more than anything in life because they made Paladin a defensive healer with no defensives. And they made it so your class revolves around you flash healing with procs, which you can't do when there's insane burst damage. So you feel it more. Obviously, a lot of other classes have a lot more to deal with the burst damage, but especially Paladin, you feel it more than anything in life. Because Disc Priest, you have 10 pain suppressions, you have Barrier of Faith, Dome, that it reduces your damage reduction by 60%. You have Grip, you have Rapture Shield, you have all these things to deal with burst damage. On Paladin, you have nothing to deal with burst damage. So you feel it most. So burst damage is just way too high. And like, especially people who have full gear. Right now I'm playing in all green gear and you can still see I'm doing like insane damn a lot of the games. And just farming Peziontes. But, they just have to make more classes balanced in general. Like, I don't know. They always make one class insanely broken and like, or like a bunch of classes insanely broken, and then some classes are completely unplayable. But I don't know. It's been really annoying that HPAL has been the worst healer for like 6 expansions now since WoD. And your CD is not mattering. Like, I can sack somebody at 100% health and they'll die through it. And people who are bad at the game won't know what's happening. And a lot of CDs don't match up. Like, I can sack somebody, which should be more than enough to save them, and they'll just kill them right through it. So it's hard to determine what CDs to use anymore, even for good players, let alone bad people who don't know what CDs to use. So they're just probably like, they probably just go AFK during the middle of the game to go eat Burger King because they don't fucking press Earth and Shield Totem and it's not doing anything. But Earth and Shield Totem is disgusting. The thing is, Earth and Shield Totem is disgustingly broken and you can't kill through it. So there's some CDs that are really good. I think it's just HPAL is terrible. So, and like I said, it's too hard for people to learn the game, especially with all these weird things in the game, like burst doing so much and your defensive cooldown, like sometimes not doing anything. So it just makes the game really unplayable and just not fun, or like can be really annoying. And the fact that some comps to the game are just so annoying to fight against, but I guess there's nothing you can do about that. Like fighting Mage Lock as a melee DPS is just the worst thing in life. It's just so awful. Or fighting against something that has a lot of mobility as like a DPS is just one of the worst, or a melee DPS is one of the worst things. Like, and all this like annoying DRCC and stuff. But I don't know. I think I had one more thing. Oh, the fact that you can't get gear unless you do all this annoying stuff. Like, I just logged on Monk and I want to just get full gear, but you can't. Why can't they just uncap Conquest? And okay, they get uncap Conquest after the first month, so people don't feel like they're falling too far behind. But the thing is, I fall so far behind immediately because there's no uncapped Conquest. Because I literally can't get the gear. I don't get the gear in my vault. I get an adaptation trinket. I catch you, Blizzard! I get the adaptation trinket in my vault every single time. So I literally cannot get gear. Even if I 3-cap, I literally don't get gear. And I can't get enough gear for my conquest, so I'm still not geared to this day. And it's like 2-3 months into the season and I'm still not geared. And I'm playing against all these people with gear. It's so sickening. Like, still, this is my most geared Pally, which he almost has full gear. I think he's still missing 3 or 4 pieces. 1, 2, 3. 3 pieces, still missing 3 pieces. And it's like, what? It's at least, wait, am I? Yeah, 3 pieces. And this is my most geared Pally. My other Pallies are still missing 8 pieces. Half the gear. So, and it's so annoying because I don't want to try really hard to play the game when I don't have full gear, because you're going to lose no matter how good you play if you don't have gear. And that's such a big problem. especially when you want to make a new character and then you're just losing and playing with the worst players and losing because you have no gear. And it's all just a spiral effect and make you not want to play the game. And you should never have to do any type of PvE, or you should never have to. This crafting thing down here is the worst thing they could ever do to the game. Why do you just get your gear from the PvP vendor? Why do you have to craft extra pieces? And especially I have to craft 3 extra pieces on all my characters, which cost me like 40,000 gold on each character. That's beyond delusional. And why did they make PvP enchants on like your back piece and whatever if the enchants are going to be like useless anyways, like 250 speed? Like, that's stupid. That's so delusional. Like, take these off. They should stop making us get extra enchants for no reason. That's so annoying to put on. And the fact that you could put, I think it's so dumb that you have to have 6 tokens. You have to 3 cap and wait a week to get 1 gem. To get 1 gem on your gear, which is beyond delusional. So why would you have to do that? Like, take gems out of the game. Take gems completely out of the game. And the fact that I have to somehow try this is not the best gem you can get. There's a tier 3 gem. I only have the tier 2 gem. And you have to just hope that the person making your gem makes it a tier 3 gem. Like, oh my God. Like, Blizzard, you could never make this game worse. All you have to do to make the game better is buy honor gear. That should be the only gear. You get the honor, you buy the gear, you play the game. That's the only thing that should happen. You should never have to upgrade it to conquest gear. You should never have to make gear here. You should never have to get gems. There should be an enchant for your weapon, and that's it. And that's it. And then you can play the game, and then it's fun, and everybody can play, and you don't have to go through 70 hoops to play the game. It's that easy. It's that simple. I know they have a walnut for a brain. I know they fall from their 3-foot tree because they can't even climb. They can't even hug a tree. They're too dumb to hug a tree, let alone climb a tree. It's just unreal. So anyways, that's what I think they can do for PvP in general and to make the game better and more playable and accessible. Let me know if you guys agree, and make sure to follow my show on kick.com/Crusader345551. You can watch there without ads. And of course, watch me on Twitch too, because the Maestro needs every cent that he can get. I'm watching my own ads here. I have nothing in my life. And with that, the Maestro never gives up.